Hello, Explorer friends. On March 16, 2026, I'll introduce Micron Technology, Inc., the friend that moved plus 3.68%. Hello, Explorer friends. Today's company is Micron Technology, Inc. The reference date is today, and the stock moved plus 3.68% today. Hello, Explorer friends. Today's company is Micron Technology, Inc. The reference date is today, and the stock moved plus 3.68% today. Hello, Explorer friends. Today's company is Micron Technology, Inc., and we're looking at a stock that moved up 3.68% today with some notable trading activity worth understanding. Hey there, stock explorers. Today we're diving into Micron Technology, a company that jumped 3.68% and caught the market's attention with some serious trading volume. Let's start with the numbers that matter. Micron closed up 3.68% with over 40 million shares changing hands, which is notably higher than its usual three-month average of about 35 million. Over the past 5 trading days, the stock has climbed 5.52%. Showing this wasn't just a one-day flash. As the fourth largest company in the semiconductor space, when Micron moves like this, people pay attention. So what exactly does Micron Technology do? Think of them as the memory makers of the digital world. They design, develop, manufacture, and sell memory and storage products across the globe, from the United States to Taiwan, Japan, China, Hong Kong, and Europe. But here's what makes this interesting. They're not just making one type of memory chip and calling it a day. Micron operates through 4 distinct business units, each serving different corners of the tech ecosystem. The cloud memory business unit focuses on the massive data centers that power our internet. The core data center business unit handles the heavy-duty storage needs of enterprise customers. The mobile and client business unit serves smartphones, laptops, and personal devices, and the automotive and embedded business unit tackles the growing world of smart cars and industrial applications. This diversification across multiple tech segments gives Micron exposure to different growth cycles and helps reduce dependence on any single market. Now, where does the money actually come from? The first major revenue driver is their memory products business. This includes dynamic random access memory, or DRAM, which is the short-term memory that helps your computer think fast. They also make specialized memory solutions for various applications. Think of DRAM like a workspace where your computer keeps the files it's actively using. The bigger and faster the workspace, the more smoothly everything runs. Companies pay Micron for these memory components because every smartphone, laptop, server, and smart device needs this kind of fast access memory to function properly. The second revenue stream comes from their storage products division. While memory is temporary workspace, storage is permanent filing cabinets. Micron makes solid-state drives for data centers, personal computers, and automotive applications. These SSDs are the modern replacement for old spinning hard drives, offering much faster data access and better reliability. The revenue model here is straightforward. Tech companies, car manufacturers, and device makers buy these storage solutions because they need reliable, fast, permanent storage for their products. Each business unit targets different customer needs, from hyperscale cloud providers needing massive memory arrays to automotive companies requiring specialized embedded storage for smart vehicles. What gives Micron its competitive edge in this crowded semiconductor space? Being ranked 4th in the semiconductor industry isn't just about size, it's about survival and relevance in one of the most capital-intensive industries in the world. The memory and storage business requires massive investment in fabrication facilities and cutting-edge technology development. Micron has managed to stay competitive by continuously advancing their manufacturing processes and developing new memory technologies. This technological capability helps them compete for contracts with major tech companies and maintain pricing power in commodity-like markets. The scale also matters because memory manufacturing has significant economies of scale, meaning larger producers can often achieve better cost structures. The future growth story that has investors excited centers around artificial intelligence and the broader semiconductor demand cycle. AI applications require enormous amounts of both fast memory and storage capacity. When an AI system processes data, it needs massive amounts of DRAM to work with information quickly, and it needs high-performance storage to access training data and store results. As AI adoption accelerates across industries, from cloud computing to edge devices, the demand for Micron's products could grow significantly. This represents a potential shift from traditional computing workloads to much more memory-intensive AI applications. So why did Micron's stock jump today? Let me break down the 3 key reasons the market responded. First, the price and volume data confirmed that institutional attention was significant on this trading day. When over 40 million shares trade hands compared to the usual 35 million average, combined with a 3.68% price increase, it signals that serious money was moving into the stock. This isn't just retail day trading activity. The combination of higher volume and sustained price appreciation suggests institutional investors or large traders were accumulating shares, which often indicates they see value or expect positive developments. Second, market interpretation and recent analysis continue to point toward renewed optimism about AI and semiconductor demand cycles. This reading comes from market sentiment and sector analysis rather than specific Micron announcements, so it should be understood as market interpretation rather than confirmed company guidance. The logic follows that if AI infrastructure build-out is accelerating, And these systems require substantially more memory and storage than traditional computing. Then memory companies like Micron should benefit from both increased unit demand and potentially better pricing power as supply becomes more constrained. Third, while the volume and sector enthusiasm are clear, the direct catalyst for today's specific move still needs stronger confirmation from official sources. This limitation is actually important to acknowledge because it means investors are currently trading more on sector themes and market positioning than on specific Micron-related news. In markets, stocks sometimes move on anticipation and sector rotation before concrete catalysts emerge. Understanding this dynamic helps explain why the stock moved today, even when the specific trigger isn't immediately obvious. What should you watch going forward? Here are 3 key indicators that will help you understand whether today's move has staying power. First, monitor whether this elevated trading volume continues into the next few sessions. If volume drops back to normal levels quickly, it might suggest today's attention was more of a one-day institutional repositioning rather than the start of sustained interest. Consistent higher volume over several days would indicate more lasting attention from serious investors who are building positions rather than just making quick trades. Second, developing a solid understanding of how Micron generates revenue from their 4 business segments will make you much more effective at evaluating future headlines and market moves. When you see news about data center expansion, smartphone sales cycles, automotive chip demand, or cloud infrastructure spending, you'll be able to connect those trends directly to specific Micron revenue streams. This knowledge transforms you from someone who just watches stock prices move to someone who can evaluate whether those moves make fundamental sense. Third, pay attention to how the market treats Micron within the broader technology sector context. As the 4th largest semiconductor company, Micron sometimes moves as a sector bellwether, meaning its performance reflects broader industry trends and investor sentiment towards semiconductor stocks in general. Other times, it moves based on company-specific factors like earnings results, guidance changes, or product announcements. Learning to distinguish between these 2 dynamics helps you understand whether a move is about Micron specifically or about how investors feel about the entire semiconductor space. Now, for the risks you should keep in mind. Here are 3 important cautions that could affect your thinking about this stock. First, sharp moves like today's 68% jump can be followed by increased volatility in subsequent sessions as short-term traders and momentum players take profits. If you're considering this stock, be prepared for potentially choppy trading as the market processes today's move and decides whether the price appreciation was justified by fundamentals or driven more by technical factors and sector rotation. Second, some of the optimism driving today's move appears to be based on market interpretation and sector themes rather than specific Micron announcements or hard company data. When stock moves are driven more by sentiment, sector rotation, and thematic investing than by concrete company-specific developments, they can reverse direction just as quickly if that sentiment shifts or if investors rotate into different themes. Third, if trading volume and institutional participation cool off quickly over the next few sessions, today's momentum could fade faster than the initial headlines might suggest. Momentum-driven moves need continued institutional interest and follow-up catalysts to sustain themselves. Without additional positive developments or sustained buying interest, stocks can give back gains as quickly as they made them, especially when the initial move was based more on sector positioning than company-specific news. The key lesson here is that understanding Micron's actual business model makes you a much better judge of whether market moves make fundamental sense. When you know that the company generates revenue by selling memory and storage products to cloud providers, device manufacturers, data center operators, and automotive companies, you can evaluate news about AI infrastructure spending, smartphone upgrade cycles, or automotive electronics trends with much more confidence and context. This knowledge helps you separate genuine business developments from market noise and sector rotation. It also helps you understand why certain types of news might affect Micron more than others, and whether a stock move reflects real changes in the company's prospects or just short-term market dynamics. Keep learning, keep watching, and remember that the best investment decisions come from understanding both what a company actually does and why the market cares about it on any given day. The combination of business knowledge and market awareness gives you the tools to make more informed judgments about whether price moves represent genuine opportunities or just temporary market fluctuations. One last reminder, this analysis introduces you to the company and interprets today's move without forcing conclusions where the evidence is thin. When information is limited or uncertain, it's better to acknowledge those limitations than to overstate what we know. Understanding the business comes first because when you truly understand what a company does and how it makes money, future headlines and market moves become much easier to evaluate without getting caught up in daily market emotions or exaggerated claims. Let's explore another company together tomorrow. See you then. One last reminder, this is not a magic spell that makes the investment decision for you. The job here is to introduce the company well and interpret today's move without forcing it. If the evidence is thin, we should say it is thin, and if more study is needed, we should leave that as the next assignment. We spend more time on the company than on the one-day move because understanding the business comes first. When you understand the company, later headlines become much easier to read without exaggeration. One last reminder, this is not a magic spell that makes the investment decision for you. The job here is to introduce the company well and interpret today's move without forcing it. If the evidence is thin, we should say it is thin, and if more study is needed, we should leave that as the next assignment. We spend more time on the company than on the one-day move because understanding the business comes first. When you understand the company, later headlines become much easier to read without exaggeration. Let's check another company together tomorrow. See you.
We're all like Joe.